feeling a little Betty Draper today, except for the makeup. You guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're doing a 3-day wear test on another concealer. This one by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It looks actually like a lot of product. I didn't even look it up. Sometimes the container makes it look large, and sometimes it really is. I'll write how much right here and how much it costs. And it is called the Magic Touch Concealer. Now, I bought this and I returned it and I bought it again because the colors are weird. Let's take a look at this doe foot. It's kind of big and it's articulated. I'm taking all this off so you can see what's going on here. Really weird kind of shape. They're trying to make it easy for you to get into very tight areas with this kind of hook situation, but it's a little big at the same time, and this is a little thick. It's interesting. I was a little bit surprised. So I guess you can't really show thickness, but it's a little thick and a little goes a long way. Now I mentioned I bought it and brought it back and bought it again because the colors are very weird. In the store, it's hard to figure it out. I thought I got the right color. I got home and it was way too yellow. And what I decided to do was go in with my Clinique and try to match it to the Clinique. You girls, you got to do what you have to do. I could have just used one of their Cliniques, but I never remember what the number is. So this is my Clinique, and I'm just wiping everything that's on here. But that isn't what I would do when I go under the eyes. And the Clinique doesn't go quite as far, I think, as the ABH. Now, oddly enough, the Clinique looks like it's lighter, but every time I've used this ABH, I felt like the color was a little off. I'm wearing it today, and I don't feel the color is a little off. So I think it varies how you apply it, what kind of color you're going to get. The texture of the ABH, to me, is actually thicker than the Clinique and the Kosas. And of course, recently, I bought the Lancome. The Lancome is not only thinner, huge doe foot, of course, but it looks skin-like on your face. And it doesn't quite go as far, I would say. It's so hard to do a test like that because it's so hard to know if you're getting the same amounts. But the thing that I really liked about the Lancome is, this is almost dry now, is that it looked like skin under the eyes. So here's Anastasia, and here's Lancome, here's the Clinique, and here's the Anastasia. As far as coverage goes, I would say on the hand, they all look the same, but under the eyes, I always felt like the Lancome wasn't giving me quite enough, that there was still darkness going through. And with this one, I feel like it has a little bit better coverage. Now, funnily enough, I think this is a tricky thing to apply, because today when I was putting on my makeup, I couldn't find this, which is my favorite brush for under the eyes. So I used this, which is the exact same brush, but it's smaller. And I'm just troughing over and over and over again, which is strange because in my experience, I did a 3-day wear test, which I'm going to talk about and show you footage on. It didn't really trough that much. It was kind of amazing. And I think it had to do with how I applied it. And when I pull like this, let me get another thing to point. This area right here, now I can't see where I'm pointing to, right here, this, when it's loose, it will fold over and kind of rub against the trough area. And as such, it'll rub off some of the product. But interestingly enough, this product seems to grip a little bit better. So I spoke about the texture, I spoke about the colors a little bit. The colors are incredibly warm, and the number scale makes no sense at all. Like, I had bought the 9, and it was lighter than this, which is the 7. So I really think this is something you probably would do best to try in store. Or, you know, you might be one of those people who's simply blessed with picking the right colors without the benefit of trying them on. thumbs up to you if that's your case. They are saying this is medium to full coverage, and I think that is true. It is creamy and lightweight with a natural finish. All true. So I did do this a little while ago, and I did powder, but I guess I didn't powder enough because I see that radiance coming through again. I find that when something has a radiance finish under your eyes, it brings light, and as such, it moves forward, and as such, if you were puffier, it makes you look more puffy. So I much prefer to have a more matte feeling under the eye, but I don't think I powdered enough today. So my color, as I noted, is light with warm undertones, number 7. And I don't think it's super, super warm, but all the other colors I tried, and I tried probably 5 or 6 in store, very, very warm. So something to keep in mind. So now we're going to go into footage of my 3-day wear test, how I applied each time, and what it looked like, and how it wore at the end of the day. Let's start. The first time I put it on, I dispensed it onto my fingertip, and then I picked it up. This is what I do with my Clinique. I usually go in with my Charlotte Tilbury first, but I haven't been doing that at all since I got the Lancome. And then I pick it up just a little bit and dab under my eyes, and that is how I wore it or applied it the first day. After the finger tap and the finger blend, I did go in with the brush because there is a thickness to this, and kept on patting it out. So I was able to work it into my little wrinkles and creases and whatnot. And on this day I didn't powder at all, and the under eyes did not look dry at all. So sometimes with the heavier, creamier things, it looks it breaks up and it doesn't go into your wrinkles so you can see those little wrinkles, and I didn't have that experience with this. And that particular day, I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to go without powder all day long, and it held on very well. I usually do a tap midday. If I happen to think of it, I'll look into a magnifying mirror and go, what's going on? Boop, boop, boop. But right now, this has been on for 20 minutes or so. This eye looks just amazing. This eye never looks amazing. This eye's in the doghouse. This eye is not. A little teeny bit of troughing that I'm not able to control today, but I didn't have the troughing issues on the other days. So the first day was a success. Day 2. So the second day I had a little bit of foundation got under my eyes when I was putting on my foundation. I dotted this on with the doe foot, and then I blended it in with the Beauty Blender. Again, a little goes a very long way with this. I probably used too much, even though I didn't want to, I didn't mean to, and that could be a function of how big this doe foot is. And once again, I went in with my brush, first for the inner corner, which is very hard to get with my fingers, and it's very hard for me to get with the sponge. So I like to do that, and then I'll just do an overall pat, just to kind of finish everything. Now, because I felt on this day that the color was too light for me, I found that I had to keep on using it. Do a little here, do a little here. I just feel like, I need to add now. In other words, you put it on, and I'll see it on the side of my nose, and I'm like, well, that doesn't match anything else going on, so I have to kind of do it around my nose, but it doesn't match what's doing on my cheeks, so I had to, I had to put a little bit on my cheeks because I didn't want that I've been skiing look, you know what I mean? And then I thought, okay, well, I need to balance the whole face. The look overall was very pretty. It gave me that traditional highlighted look, and I didn't need a lot of product because, like I said, a little bit goes a long way. But also important to keep in mind that I did powder that day, so it didn't look as light. Like I said, if something isn't powdered and there's a sheen to it, it looks lighter than it is. You put a little bit powder on it, and that sheen is no longer tricking your eye that it's seen light. If that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense. It makes sense to me. When I put the powder on it, I was so surprised because of the thick nature of this one that it didn't look dry immediately. I'm reminded when I tried Tarte Shape Tape the first time. I'm like, okay, I don't really know about this one. And then I powdered it, and it was like, it sucked every bit of moisture under my eyes out, and it looked 1,000 times more crepey. So this one, I thought, it's kind of thick. It might just soak up that powder, even though it's not that much, and look dry, and it didn't. And that to me was really, really interesting. I was very pleasantly surprised. So the first day, everything wore great. I had no problem with it at all. I, again, might have done a couple of tap, tap, taps throughout the day, but it looked wonderful. It didn't look too creasy, but mind you, I am 59 years old and I haven't had any work done, so I have a lot going on here, you guys. I just do. It's not flat. It's puffy, and I have a trough. I have a little fat pad here and probably some stuff over here. The wrinkles are doing different things on each eye. And yeah, hi. It's just the way it is. That's why concealers are so important. And I also have real, true, actual darkness. Like when I do my foundation and I haven't done my concealer yet, I look like I'm ready for Halloween. So for me, it's given me good coverage so far. It's working well with others. There was just that one thing about the color that sometimes was a problem and sometimes wasn't. Good with powder, good without powder. I prefer it with powder because I don't want reflection under my eye. Let's move on to the third day. On the third day, I decided to do on my right, your left, the ABH, and on my left, your right, the Lancome, which I have two of them now because I had the wrong color, but I decided to keep it because it's a good skin color, blah, 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 blah. With both sides, I applied the same way. I went in with the brush, and then I patted with the finger, and then I powdered. On this particular day, I kept this on for almost 12 hours, and I went for a hike with Lucy, so I got a little bit moist, which usually takes everything off. And I don't know if I'm a face toucher. If I am, I'm not really aware of it. I don't think I touch my under eyes. So when I looked at 11 o'clock at night at my eyes with the other mirror I have, which is even larger than this one, I think it's a 5X, I was stunned by what I saw, but not entirely. Like I said, the Lancome looked so skin-like. I felt like I had better coverage with this one, but it could be because the color might be a little bit lighter, and that can be deceiving. But what I did notice is that area, and again, I gotta find something to pull my skin up with, right here, this little skin right here that goes down like this, up like this, usually everything right here, it rubs off. How could it not? The Lancome side, it was rubbed off. On this side, it was not. I was very, very, very surprised. Yes, there was creasing by this hour, but again, take the finger, warm it up, pat, pat, pat. You're good to go, and you still have the coverage for the darkness, which is very important to me. So, my conclusion is, I'm not saying I like this better than the Lancome. I'm saying since I have gotten this for a test, I've worn it several days that I wasn't testing it, so I probably have worn this for maybe 7 days or so, and I quite like it. I do feel, I remember feeling that this one is more skin-like, and this one is definitely lighter feeling. Not that this feels heavy on my skin, but, you know, when I'm doing this, it's like, yeah, there's a heaviness to this. Which one was this? This one is the Clinique, and this one feels actually heavier now that it's been on for all this time, but they're just slightly. I might have had more or less on, but the feeling is very similar to the Clinique. But the Lancome didn't feel as heavy. I don't want to say it's liquidy, but I want to say that it feels more like my foundations in its lightness. And that's it, you guys. I can't say one is better than the other. I can say this: if you want long wear, and if you want coverage, and if you have stuff like I have stuff like this going up, you know, this nice little mountain on my eye and a trough and skin rubbing together, and you want that to stay, this one works better than this one, or even this one. I love them all. I'm not returning it. That should tell you something. I am overwhelmed with concealers right now. I mean, I've thrown away some that are too old, but I have Mycosis, which I like. I have 2 colors in that. I have 2 colors in the Lancome that I like. I love this. You've seen me wear this many, many times, the Clinique even better, and now this is going to be my repertoire. And now that everything's dried down, I'd say the colors are very, very similar. So the color of the Clinique, just to help you out, is CN10. And you guys, that's going to wrap it up. ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Magic Touch Concealer. It's a win for me, and I would say if you have darkness you want to cover on your face but you don't want full coverage all over your face, this is going to do it. Just take one of the teeny mini beauty blenders to work it in. I think it would be great for that, and I think it'll stay for a long time. All right, let's wrap it up. That is it for today's video. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Be safe, be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.